Boom.
Biddly, 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 boy. Yes, yo. Here we go. Ain't nobody down round here. You know what time it is. Get that badger. In and on and over here. He's in, he's on, he's over. He had to move back to get his greatness in. Quick shit vid. Obviously, we've got a game tomorrow. I love it when they come thick and fast. So we come straight out of Sunday into Wednesday, which I'm all for in the workplace. I think it's mint when we've got games rolling in. It's ace. Obviously, 2 home games. We look like a force to be reckoned with, don't we, at home, which is, as we've known, pretty much all season. Just want to briefly just discuss Sunday. So there's been a few call-outs I've noticed online and what have you about the atmosphere and stuff. I thought it wasn't the best atmospheres at season, to be honest, especially for a 12 o'clock kickoff, which I think can sometimes be a bit pap in there because I think everybody's in a bit of a rush. I know it sounds daft, but maybe with it being a Sunday, that probably helps. I think Saturday, Friday work, whatever you try, it's a bit more chaotic in it. Everybody's got a bit more time on Sunday, haven't they? A bit more like, you can sort of break away a little bit more. You can get your jobs done with wife on Saturday, for instance, and then get the day off on Sunday a lot easier, whatever. I can just feel like 12 o'clock games can be a bit rushed, and then by the time everybody gets there, it takes 20 minutes for everybody to settle in. But when you get a nice early goal like that, it just puts everybody to rest. It was good to get a win also on the basis that, we did have 2 draws on bounce, and it can become a little bit of a mini rut, really, if you don't sort of get that out of the way. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about Meslier silent S starting. We spoke about it all week. This narrative where there was like gasps and stuff from the crowd, I didn't get any of that, to be fair. I didn't, there was perhaps 1 or 2 that sort of like made a bit of a joke, but overall, I didn't think anybody did. I thought everybody were right behind him. He got a massive round of applause when he only caught the ball, and it wasn't like an ironic round of applause either. I think everybody, to be fair, by and large, got behind him. So I'm not on board with that. I don't really know where that narrative's come from. And he made a couple of decent saves. And this isn't a defence of Mez in any sense. I said I'd have probably pulled him out of the side, but ultimately Farker has got it right. And to be fair, if Mez is just the best keeper at the club, he's the best keeper at the club. There's not a lot we can do about it at this point, other than obviously bringing someone in that's better than Mez. But then what happens to Darlow? He obviously don't fancy Darlow. Darlow must be pretty gutted, really. Somebody actually commented the other day saying, the problem is this just proves that Meslier Silent S is undroppable, which, I do think that is a fair argument, a fair statement to be made, because, if he's not getting dropped after some of his recent performances, I think it's an accumulation of faults in it that we've got over the season, and then people are on about his goal-saving ratios and, shots saved against shots had and all this stuff, which I've said 1,000 times, but if it's 1 shot, 1 goal, it's never going to be good for his statistics. Couple of decent saves, clean sheet ultimately, and you can say what you want about defence, saying that they pulled him out, they got him through it. That's also what the defence is meant to do, innit? You don't want the defence sort of crumbling and then have everybody getting battered. Happy to see Byram keep his spot. I think he's well worth it. I think he's been brilliant for us. Also interesting, I've said this other day about everybody saying that he's made of paper and whatever, made of biscuits or whatever everybody says and stuff, but he's not proved that over this season or last season, to be fair. He's been out for a couple of games on here and there, but really he's actually been available a lot, and I'm buzzing for him, to be fair. Aronson being a nuisance for first goal, I thought that was brilliant. Mint from Rothwell, just because he's always constantly looking forward, and you always know that he's aware that he might clip it forward, and I know some of them don't come off, but we do get, we bang on about moving ball forward and stuff, and Rothwell is always looking to move ball forward, so it is exciting in that sense. Aronson with a mint little run, just making a nuisance of himself, and then Solomon sweeping up. I thought Ampadu was excellent on Sunday. I'm not sure who got the man of the match. I think it may very well have been Ampadu, which, a lot of people said that Bogle should have got it, because I thought Bogle was also excellent. Thought we're all good. I thought the scoreline flattered us ever so slightly, to be fair, but that's what comes with territory, doesn't it? I just want to mention that mad challenge from Byram, because that was early doors, wasn't it? And I was like, Jesus, but it seemed to just go totally under the radar, that. Like, none of them lot kicked off about it, none at Sheff Wednesday. I mean, it wasn't horrendous. He won the ball, but it was 2-footed. It was a bit of a mad one. Ramazani, awesome finish. He always drives it really low. I love how he strikes it with his left foot, like from anywhere. I thought the chance had gone. I was actually asking him to sort of lay it off. I think it were Peru or something behind him, sort of, wanting him to lay it off. But yeah, brilliant turn, and then he always smashes it low. And then even for third goal, it comes out. I cannot believe as well. And this is not, I thought Joseph had a decent enough cameo, but the header He's like a defensive header. He just sort of jumps and it comes off. Somebody genuinely online has tried to suggest that he's seen Ramazani and he's headed it back to him, Ramazani. But regardless of that, we cannot pretend that he's deliberately heads that towards edge of box. But regardless, Ramazani with a really clean strike. It's probably not going in. Obviously, then Tanaka with just a bit of class. It's awesome. But yeah, so just every time Ramazani strikes the ball, it never seems to leap ground. He always hits it really well. Peru got a bit of stick as well. I thought Peru were decent, to be honest. I don't really know what people are after, really. He's not dynamic, is he? I don't think he's as bad on the ball as everybody makes out. I think he carries it quite well. Picked a couple of knocks we picked up on, which obviously going into tomorrow is not ideal. Now, we've spoke about this needing the 10 and stuff, and obviously, everybody's banging on that Sheffield United are making signings. Now Burnley have just got John Joe Shelby as though like he's going to come and rip the league up like he's better than Tanaka or Rothwell or Ampadu or Gruev or even Gilavogia. I don't know how much has John Joe Shelby got left in his legs. But, and then Diaz has been signed and, Barnes and all this stuff. So, and we do need to make a move in the 10. Now, Aronson is a doubt. It's 50-50. It's going to leave it while a late call. Now, the issue that I've got with this is that what worries me is when Farker mentioned, when it was asked of him who plays in the 10, he went straight from Aronson into like Peru, Solomon, then Nonto. Well, Solomon's now potentially out as well, which is a worry, because then the one of the second to third. So if you're bringing Peru into the 10, then Solomon has to come out the side. So Joseph has to go up top. So we've gone from having quite a stable front four to only being Dan James that's played the last few games like in the same position. Because if you're moving Peru, that is moving far too many of them around. So I'd rather he didn't do that, even if it meant you had to sacrifice, if it were Nonto in the 10 and then Ramazani goes out wide left. At least that's only moving one. I think then once you bring in Joseph in, who's got his critics, and then like Joe said on Final Word yesterday, then there's no striker on the bench. So suddenly then you've got to change it within the game. If you want to bring Joseph off, you have to then go bring Nonto on, and then Perizli goes further forward unless he goes with Nonto up top, which he's also alluded to potentially doing. But I don't think he'll want to do that while Joseph's on bench, or obviously starting him. But I think personally it'll just be Nonto in the 10 and then Ramazani out wide left, which I would take. The issue I have with that long term, it's the long term that worries me. I think we can get away with it, and I know people get radgy when I say get away with it, and I need to find another phrase for getting away with it. Because I don't literally mean we can get away with it. I'm trying to think of a better phrase, so if anybody knows one. I just think, it's manageable for a couple of games, whereas if we're talking 2 or 3 months or 2 months, it's like, no, that's not the case. Very similar to Ampadu playing at the back. I thought he was excellent at weekend with Rodon. I thought they'd bossed it, but I don't want that for 8 weeks. Do you know what I mean? I don't want that to happen again. I want it to remain sturdy. And I'm not on board with this, like, well, what if, what if Tanaka gets injured and then suddenly Gruev's got to come in and Ampadu's still at centre back? I'm not too worried about that. I think we've got enough strength and depth in that sense. But yeah, the 10 is a worry. Joseph and Peru can battle it out up top. I don't think, I think Peru's the better option of the two, but Joseph's decent enough off at bench. He provides enough and he puts himself about enough, what have you. He might start picking up a few goals, who knows. But they can battle it out. I'm all right with that. If we got another number 9 in that comes in to challenge Peru, I think that'd be mint. But it'd have to be a striker that comes in for the Premier League as well. Norwich have got loads of injuries, but I think it could be a little bit sticky, a little bit more sticky than people let on for. I think this happens a lot. It's not a criticism of anybody, this, but I think just in general, you sort of win a few games, or you think a game might be sticky and you get through it, you do well, and then you come unstuck against some shits, really. Well, Norwich aren't shit, and, they've got tons of injuries, and Just Joe has assured me that they are absolutely babtash, and I have not watched them. I've just looked at the last 5 games of form. They've won 3, drawn 1 and lost 1, which is, well, it's better form than Wednesday were in, and I thought Wednesday actually give a relatively decent account of themselves. I know they're not, they're not blowing league up or whatever, but they were really poor at the start of the season. So that sausage roll fella has got them, playing to some form of standard. Farker came into a bit of stick with he got asked a question about his backroom staff, and then he went off on one for 5 minutes. I don't have a problem getting asked about his backroom staff. Everybody said that was a poor question, but they've never asked him about his backroom staff. You know, people don't know who the coaches are and stuff. I've no problem with it. The problem is then Farke uses that to go on for 10 minutes, and then you don't get the questions that you want. But I'd prefer it, like I said before, if they just got asked to do less press. I don't think it's necessary. I think just find out who's injured. You know, I mean, Bielsa never even used to tell us that, did he? He used to keep it all to his chest. So I prefer it. I don't need to know everything about everything. Do you know what I mean? Just keep some stuff. I'll have a look at team sheet. It's actually a bit more fun as well. Like, I'm expecting Aronson and and Solomon to potentially be injured now. So it's like, you know, you're just looking for that. So, but yeah, Sheffield United have got Swansea tonight, which could be again a bit of a tasty one. It's getting tasty up to the top now. Obviously, Sheffield United could go in front of us tonight. Burnley have got Plymouth on Wednesday, who were shit. They're obviously rooted to bottom at league, so they'd go level on points with us, providing unless we win on Wednesday tomorrow, which I believe we will. So we'll finish, hopefully, by Thursday morning. It'll be us top by 3 points, and then we're straight into Burnley on Monday. So that is going to be a bit of a blockbuster in it. That is a proper 6-pointer. We've got some pretty tough fixtures coming up in general, to be fair. So if we can get through them, remaining top, you would have to back us for going up. Come on, automatics. Nobody do it how we does it. You know what time it is. Badger in, badger on, badger out.
Boom.
JackCity, bitch. JackCity, bitch. Hey!
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is. Don't wanna ever feel surprised. That's why I ask.